Hello, I'm Wendy. Today I'm painting snowdrops in watercolour using the bokeh effect. Snowdrops are such a lovely subject to paint, and I've painted them for the last few years. I'll put you some links in the description box if you want to check back on those. But having painted them a few times, then I was wondering what to do that might be a little bit different this year. And I was looking at some images on Pixabay and I came across this one. I thought it was really special. I love the composition of the snowdrops and I love the background, and I was thinking, how can you get that sort of effect? And I thought about this technique called bokeh. It's pronounced bokeh. Sometimes you hear it pronounced bokeh. I am having a bit of trouble with the pronunciation. It's a technique that's used a lot in photography, where they render out of focus or blurring parts of the image, sometimes getting these round orbs that you see in the image that I've put up here, that vary in size and softness. You may well be familiar with this technique being used in watercolour painting. I'm very late to this party. I think it's you'll see videos now from about 2 years ago when people have been experimenting with this technique, but I've just really found it, and I've been doing a little bit of experimenting with it, and it did seem to work quite well behind the snowdrops. So if you watch along with the video, you'll see how I coped. I suggest if, like me, you're very new to this technique, then you do lots and lots of practicing. You need to put down a wash, as I've done here, and let it dry thoroughly. I've used this stencil that I picked up from Amazon, and you use a sponge to sponge out the paint. You lift the paint with a sponge to leave the orbs. If you press on very hard, depending on the sort of paper you're using, you can get down almost to the white of the paper, or you can press on a bit more lightly, and clearly you don't pull off quite so much. I practice with natural sponge and a kitchen sponge. I'm told that the white magic sponges are very good for doing this technique as well, but it does take practice, and I found that if it was too wet, then you were getting like an edge around the orb where the water had sort of pushed the paint away, which is what I wasn't looking for. So lots of practice. You can see I was doing some more practicing on the right hand side of this little picture that I'm doing here. This was basically a practice session for me, and I didn't really expect to show this, but it turned out quite nicely in the end. So this is the one that I've used for the video. I just did a little simple composition, looking at the reference from Pixabay, just with 4 flowers and a few of the leaves, and I masked these out, as you can see, with the masking fluid. I think the masking fluid is ideal for this sort of work. What I was really interested in, actually, I was going to see if, once the masking fluid was dry, if I could actually put a wash on and do the bokeh effect with the sponge behind the masking fluid. I was wondering if I was going to remove the masking fluid. Now for the wash behind, I looked at the photograph and picked out some of the colours that I saw there. You can use clearly any colour that you want for the background, and this you can experiment. But the colours I was seeing there, I was using a little bit of light red, a little bit of raw sienna, and for the colours at the top of the picture, I was using ultramarine with a little bit of light red and dropping some yellow in there. You'll see as the camera closes up on this part of the painting that the washes were very, very soft. I'm working on Bockingford paper here, £140 knot, and I wet the background and all the colours are merging. Using the ultramarine, you do get a little bit of granulation going on, and I wondered about that. I'm never that keen on the granulation. If you don't like that, avoid ultramarine and use something like cobalt blue. It looked quite granulated as I was working, but it actually dried back very soft. Make sure that you put some darks around the flowers themselves so that they stand out against the background. Bit of a jump here, I know, but I found filming the rubbing out of the orbs quite difficult because my hand was getting in the way of my arm and everything. But you saw how I attempted to do them on my practices. I was fairly pleased with what I got. Some of them were a little bit hard edged, you know, the paint had run round the edges, but I didn't worry too much about that. I think it worked okay, and I managed to actually pull out the paint with a sponge behind the massed area of some of the snowdrops and of the stems. So that was really good. So with the background completed then, I started work on the painting of the actual snowdrops. I wanted to anchor them to the ground, so I'm using a bit of dark paint there at the base of the leaves and the stems. I made a bit of an error in putting masking fluid a little bit too long, a line there on the stems, as you can see, and I wanted to cover that up as well because I wanted to have a straighter edge where the stems and the leaves were coming out of the ground. You can see here I'm putting on the darker paint to, as I said, to anchor them down. Once that was done, I took a little bit of opaque white. I think I'm using the an opaque ink here. You could use gouache. There's always some shapes left that you don't like when you're using masking fluid, and I just needed just to touch up a few of the areas. I did pretty well actually. There weren't very many. I just wanted to define the shape of some of the petals particularly. And then I went in with the greens for the leaves. Started off with a paler green, as you can see here, just putting the washes on very simply. It's a simple painting. I'm not going into lots and lots of botanical detail, as you can see. And then just strengthen them. Have a look at the reference and see if you want to put the same sort of shadow areas on there using a darker green. Greens I'll be using here is cobalt, raw sienna, bit of burnt sienna, bit of sap green. Pop a bit of sap green in there if you want it a bit brighter. So I'm not showing all of this. As you can see, I'm using my turning of the page to indicate that I have missed out some little bits, otherwise the video would go on far too long. I've done lots of these paintings of snowdrops in the past, so you can, if you want a bit more detail and a bit more commentary, you can have a look on those. Just putting little bits of form into the tops of the flowers there. Here I'm just tidying up the shapes of the leaves. Didn't like the shape at the top, they looked a bit ugly. So I just gave them just more of a nice sort of curvy pointed shape there with a bit of a darker paint. Then painting the flowers themselves, I put very, very little shadow colour on there because I didn't want to lose the white of the paper against the background. The background is not very dark, so I think it would be a mistake to put too much shadow colour on there. I mixed up a little bit of, I think it was just pure ultramarine, separated some of the flowers with a little bit of the colour, with the form rather than the line. At the moment you can see them separated with the pencil line. Now that's going to be rubbed off, so you do need to separate them with a little bit of colour as well, just to make each petal overlap or stand out from the next petal. Sorry, I'm not explaining that very well. It's basically giving the flowers some form without using the pencil line. And the last stage was to put that very descriptive little mark in there that we all know that's on the snowdrops. It does make a difference to them. I think when you're doing these snowdrop paintings, it's trying to make everyone a slightly different shape as well. So the final thing I did was I felt it just needed a little bit of splatter. You could have done without, but I decided to put a little bit in there. So this was the final picture with the bokeh working, I think, quite nicely in the background. I took this photograph with slightly different light from the light that I was videoing with, so it's a little bit warmer. It is very close to the actual painting. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a go with this effect. And if you do, then please share your work on our Facebook page. I'd be really interested to see it. Do subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss anything that's coming up. I think I've got one more snow scene, and then after that I don't know. We're into spring, so maybe some flowers. Bye for now, and happy painting.